My phone's a little slow. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So I got my hat on because I have bedhead. I was getting ready to go take a shower, but um, I was up earlier. Um, I can't remember what I was dreaming of then, but it was something that it was enough to get me up. Um, so I got up, drank some coffee for a couple hours until about, I think it was 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, I felt really tired. It was just like a flood of just exhaustion. So I went and laid down, and I should have known that I was going to have a dream or dream/vision. I only remember parts of it, so I'm going to try to film it and try to discuss the parts that I remember. Okay, it was something was happening. There was chaos. The land. Uh, the weather. I don't remember so much about the weather, but it seemed like it was dusk, something like that, a dusk type of night. Um, and a bus. It was this. I was in this big bus. I think it was a white bus. It's like a navy bus, and the driver was right here, and you know how you load up on the bus? Well, there's railings that you stand right there. Well, I was looking as the bus was driving really fast. We're going through these streets, and it's kind of like I was looking out for the driver to avoid things, trees that are falling, things that are coming our way, uh, trying to look ahead of the road. And all of a sudden, as we're going like down this hill, I can see these power lines that are like going across the road, and it was like in a pie shape, and it was coming down towards us, right? So it was, swaying or coming this way. And I told him, I said, step on it, the thing, so we can, and we made it just underneath of it, and we made it past it. And I looked back, and it fell down and blocked the road with these live wires. And we're cruising, and next thing you know, we come into like a dead end, but it wasn't a dead end. The earth had rose up so high that the road is now up. The continua of the road is up here, and so we come to this thing, and we had to try to turn the bus around that area because I'm like, oh, we can't get out this way. We've got what happened. That's when we realized that the earth had risen up and broke up the road, and so we had to turn around, and we're coming back, and then it jumped to another scene where I was in a white van. I was in the driver's side. I was partway in it, and things started shaking and moving, and I jumped in the van, and there was people in the van, and there was people on the bus too, but I couldn't tell you. I think they were all ages, but I remember one guy. One guy had a pipe, like one of those old pipes, and just sitting back, relaxed. It was just bizarre because now that I think about after the event, and so somehow I must have been having words with the bus driver, and anyway, I'm in this van now, or halfway in this van. The van starts rolling. I jump in the van. Well, I wake up. Right before I wake up, I actually wake up here. Um, I'm walking into this room, and there's this like island, and I put down the keys, and it was so interesting because I look at this guy, and I don't even know what his face looks like. I just know that he was in like almost like janitor clothes, and I looked at him and I go, I said 3 times. I go, you left me 3 times, 3 times. But he only left me 2 times. But I don't understand why I said that. Um, but then I knew I was exaggerating 3 times because I was like, well, 2 times. And then the whole time that I'm saying this, I'm looking off to the right corner, and in the back in this room, there's this guy again. He's sitting there, like in this lounge chair, and he's got an ottoman. He's got his feet crossed on the ottoman, and he's just smoking this pipe, just chilling out, just watching everything. And that's when I woke up. I was like, I got up, and I woke up in a panic because what I was seeing in my mind was chaos on the land, uplifting, the weather, the telephone lines going down, not being able to get out or move anywhere, trapped. That's what it felt like. I was, no matter what direction I was going to, felt like I was getting trapped. And I thought, oh my goodness. So I woke up. So anyway, that's all I remember right now of it. I'm going to go and take a shower and get rinsed off and stuff. Maybe something more might come. But I remember, especially when I walked in, and it's interesting because now that I think about it, it's like it was on a military, I think it was on a military base, or it had to do something with the military. Because in the military, when I was stationed in Hawaii, I was a bus driver. They had me, get the license for a bus driver to move the squadron back and forth. There was a few of us that had to get a bus license. And so I was driving around this big white bus. I had to learn how to back it up and all that stuff. So I remember that part. And then the white vans, I was in, when we were stationed in Adak, Alaska, they didn't have the big white buses. They had these white vans that we were caravanning in. And that's what it felt like too, is that I wasn't just the only van there. There was other, and like I had to scramble to keep up or catch up. And it was just so bizarre because when I was thinking about that, trying to talk it out as I was waking up here, trying to think about it, I was like thinking, those were military, those were Navy vans and a Navy bus. And I'm like thinking, oh, duh, I used to have a bus license. I think it's CDL license or something like that. A white license. That's what they called it. Interesting. And do you know what the name of my squadron was in that same one? The Skinny Dragons. And then I was showing you that dragon. Where is that dragon? I think he's on this side. Yeah, that red dragon. I showed you this morning. I've been showing it on my face, and we lost a subscriber too. Sorry, but can't help it, because even on the Super Bowl commercials, they're talking about the red dragon coming in. And then I showed you, where was it? On Google, which I only got 3 days ago, 2 views. It shows a red dragon and the golden landscape. Let's see if I can turn the phone so I can show you. The red dragon, and that's when the dragon started coming out on my face, but I was thinking, well, maybe it's a peacock. And then when I was looking through the Super Bowl commercials and noticing that it's Ray Atum, because you got Ra, right? And then you got Ray, and then you got ruthenium. So Ra is radiant, number 88 on the periodic table. Ray is the sacred golden sun, but Ray is rhenium. And then Ru is ruthenium. Ru is number 44. So it's like Supreme Court justice. So it's all got this linguistic form or language that the people don't know. They only know what we're told. It's like this big Goliath, right? We have to change. We have to be able to release what we've been told as truth, which some of it is truth, and you still need that to be able to figure out the other, to be able to figure out the truth. I hope that I said that right. But the people don't want to learn the Greek. They don't want to learn the Hebrew. They don't want to learn the definitions. It's like the English, the letter A, alpha, A, right? But they don't call it alpha. They call it A, B, C, D. They call them by the letters. But A for alpha has meaning. It has a symbol. It has character. It has a description to it. But if you look at the English, A is just a sound and a letter. That's all it is. And like this whole thing about the 13th letter is new. New could be like northeast, west, south from all directions. But it's a wave, a gamma wave. And new also represents noon, which is Hebrew, N-U-N, the 13th letter. And it represents Re Atum, which is the watery one. So that shows this big waves coming in. So I wonder if, because a big wave, a watery one, water comes from the sun's plasma. The sun's plasma has been shooting off these big X flares, like 3.38 or something, and all these M-class flares too. So I wonder if it's meaning gamma as far as that, or if it's meaning that the red dragon, the apple that rolls, hits the earth. And that's where the waves of the earth go flooding in. Because in Scooby-Doo Incorporated, the last ones they were making, they were talking about Nibiru. Let me bring it up. YouTube Incorporated. Oh, my mind is still racing about that vision or dream. You can see it in my eyes. I'm still like, what? Scooby-Doo Incorporated Nibiru. If you ever want to look it up, look up Nibiru. Nibiru is coming is what it says. B-N-I-B-I-R-U. And that's where you get ruthenium. R-U is ruthenium. Number 44. So it's the book of Ruth, which would, I think, is before or after Kings. And remember, at the end time, the kings are all coming together and battling. Okay, let's see. I think it's this one.
Mom, Dad, I've got something important to say. Since you've come back into my life, I finally feel for the first time ever anything should happen to me.
Okay, wait.
Tell me about our little underwater escapade. There's a lot about that adventure I wish we could forget.
Amen to that.
Underwater
The weirdest
escapade.
part of all was what the late Abigail Gluck whispered.
Abigail Gluck.
Abigail Gluck whispered.
Like I'll say, a crazy mummified corpse whispering Nibiru is creepy times 10.
It gets creepier. I Googled it and found a lot. Namely this. Nibiru is a planet listed in the writings of Zecharia Sitchin, particularly his book The 12th Planet. According to Sitchin's interpretation of Babylonian religious texts, a giant planet called Nibiru passes by Earth every 3,600 years and allows its sentient inhabitants to interact with humanity. These beings, which Sitchin identified with the Anunnaki of Sumerian myth, would become humanity's first gods. My favorite internet encyclopedia says there's supposed to be a collision. The Nibiru collision is a disastrous encounter between.
No. Does not look like a red dragon coming in. It's red and orange. Now, when you look at the red and orange and then the earth, right? The collision. Now, on the Super Bowl, next to Taylor Swift, was that one girl, I can't remember her name, but she's got like this carrot top, orangish hair, and she's got an upside down cross, and she's doing the sign of the devil with her hands, and she's dressed in black. Um, it's kind of interesting. I'm not too sure about her role, but I was thinking, and then of course they're showing the commercials where even the guy who played in The Shining, The Shining, I think, no, it's not him that played in The Shining. Silence of the Lambs. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's why they picked him to do that commercial. The commercial was the Stoke cold brew coffee, Metamorphosis, is what he talks about. And he's looking in the mirror and he touches the mirror. And then he goes and puts on this big red dragon head and a red dragon suit, and he runs out into the ball field, right? And everybody's loving of his arrival, right? They're all cheering him on. And so I think that's what they're representing Ray Atum. And then remember the 13th letter Nu. You got N is for the 13th letter in Greek and Hebrew. So when you take the N, which represents Nu, NU, it also represents NUN, which is representing Ray Atum, the sky god, probably the rain god of the sky, of the heavens. There is the symbol for that is a V. Now, remember, V is for vendetta. And remember the movie I was telling you about, Ultraviolet? Here, let's try to bring her up. Ultraviolet, the movie with Dex, who was doing all the vaccines from the World Health Organization that was controlling the whole world. He was trying to eradicate a species. Well, there's a child named Six that actually saves the whole world, because this child named Six, the serum or his blood actually is the antidote to cure all those that are vampires, all those that have all these kind of illness. So, that's his name is Six. Ultraviolet, Violet. Violet also represents the top chakra. V. Okay, maybe. Okay, her. She's ultraviolet. I wonder if you can see her. Where's another one? Right here. There she is, right there. And she has this belt, this knob on her belt that she twists, and it changes her hairstyle. It changes her whole clothing. And her hands got all kinds of weapons. She can pull out weapons, and the AI computer system, when she enters this building, it tries to detect how many weapons, and it says, the guy asks how many weapons, and the automated system says many. So she had unlimited access, and then she had to go back, of course, to this other guy to get replenished with all these weapons. And it's so interesting how that works. Um, but anyway, so she takes on this big corporation. She, is at the end. Dex, the mad scientist, was trying to take Six and cut open his skull. Had frozen him, and then, of course, tried to cut open his skull. But V realized that he was the antidote during a certain period of time, because Dex ends up killing V, but then this guy who's madly in love with V, this other scientist, right, goes and grabs V and saves her and brings her back to life. And then she's upset that he brought her back to life. And then he goes, but no, So while she's upset and laying there in bed, she realizes that Six is actually the antidote to cure the whole world. So she goes back and gets him. And that's when the movie ends. So when we look at the symbolism today, V is for vendetta. New is like the 13th letter. So, and you can look at victory too, going into the golden age, a new age. So it's very quite interesting. That's interesting because NASA's got that sideways V kind of like shape as well. Okay, so I'll stop talking. I need to go and take a shower, but I just wanted to quickly give that vision, that dream. I want to say more of a dream, because my dreams are usually in black and white, because I remember seeing the white bands and it being dark. I seen some yellows and stuff like that, but it's not the same as my visions. Like my visions when I'm at God's feet, or my visions when I woke up in the bathtub, this big bathtub, and I seen the light and I was walking down. Those to me are visions of actually, another part of me being there. This is another part of me being in some type of black and white, which I think is, at just different levels. I don't even know how to describe that, but I'm just trying to share with you how I tell the difference between a vision and tell the difference between a dream. And it's usually by the coloring of the reality that I'm seeing. And maybe that will help somebody else too, to pay attention to more of their dreams. Are they seeing color? Are they actually witnessing a vision with all this beauty and color, and actually being able to not understand, but actually be in this world and that world and understand that you're crossing between worlds, or being in the black and white where it's like, I don't feel that I was crossing over. I felt that I was still here. So, and of course, they got black and white checkerboards everywhere. They even had it in the Coliseum during the Super Bowl. They had it up by the stage, or up by the people that were in the balconies and stuff. They had them in strips going across everywhere. So, anyway, just wanted to share that. Tell me your thoughts about. Of course, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I'm only watching the commercials. I'm only watching those things, certain things. I don't want to immerse myself so much into watching it, because to me, the whole thing is a ritual that they're playing on a large scale, right? The plays that they're playing, every time they focus the screen up to Taylor Swift, the hand symbols and things that she's doing, the things that they're doing in front of the screen, the subliminal stuff. So that's why I went and looked up all the commercials that they had and, pieced through it. And some of it I'd listened to, but then I shut off the volume, because I just don't trust any of these people anymore, because I've realized that all these staged events and everything are all rituals, and they're spells. It's like, even Hocus Pocus, when Bette Midler gets on the stage, the three witches, I put a spell on you, and the people are dancing, and they're moving, and they're liking it, and stuff like that. They're putting a spell on them. They're in the stage, or in a coliseum, like a big Greek coliseum. They're in the theater. They're seeing the excitement, right? The battle between two, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And that's interesting too. It's Valentine's Day, and I had that dream.